As I was idly looking at our drink shelf the other day, I wondered, could I use the contents to illustrate bar lines in music? And when I say music, I mean the music that I perform as a double bass player with the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment, so Eurocentric classical music. Here goes, bar lines from the bar. When music was first written down, it looked very different to today. The notes flowed freely across the page. There might be the odd mark to show the end of a phrase, the way that we use punctuation in sentences like commas and full stops, or in my case, to indicate when it's time to go to the next glass. Then along came bar lines, which held the notes between vertical lines, dividing them into regular groups of beats in each bar. You might have 4, maybe 3, sometimes 2. See what happens to the top number in our time signature each time. Some composers wrote 8 beats in a bar, but then to stop it feeling too unwieldy would describe them as 4 bigger beats. See what I did there? So as well as having these bigger beats, you could also have smaller beats. If I reach for my beer bottles, we can make 6/8. You get the idea. But why? Why did this happen, and why does it matter? Well, one reason is navigation. Imagine you're playing the keyboard, for example. The bar lines really help see how the music for one hand lines up with the music of the other. Or if you want to talk about the music, having bar lines helps. Each bar is numbered, so you can say to your friend, "See that bit in bar 54? I wonder what made the composer think of that." It's the same in rehearsals. Having those numbered bars means we can be sure we're talking about the same point in the music and that we're all going to start in the same place. Of course, this doesn't matter for short pieces of 8 bars or so, but imagine if you've got a piece of 100 bars or 1,000 bars, those numbers really help us. But it's not just about navigation, it's about the feel of the piece as well. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you might imagine yourself marching down the road. If I count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you might find yourself beginning to want to sway or dance. If I count 1, 2, 1, 2, I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to imagine some sort of PE. And not only does the feel, does the swing change as we change the numbers, but also what's beginning to creep in is a sense of regular pulse as we get back to 1 each time. We're now thinking and feeling in much shorter units than we were in our very early written music. A byproduct of what I call this swing or this regular pulse is that now some beats become more important than others. The downbeat, the 1 in our counting, was considered highly important in Baroque times for giving proper energy to the dances that were so important to them on the stage, in the courts, in the village halls. Lully, the one who died of the conducting related foot injury, he insisted that all his string players played the downbeat with a down bow to give it the proper emphasis it needed. So for my bottles, I'm going to need something a bit more special for the downbeat. One of my jobs as a double bassist in the ensemble is to support this downbeat emphasis and the liveliness of the dance. But to give you a better sense of the dance, I need help from my colleagues. This 6/8 could be a jig. This 3/4 could be a minuet. This 4/4 could be a bourrée. Hang on a minute, all bourrées start with an upbeat. I need an extra bottle before my first bar line. wasn't just Lully who wanted this emphasis on the downbeat. Others went further. Leopold Mozart, father of Amadeus, said not only are downbeats good, but so are the half bars, the third beats in our 4/4. I need another bottle of bubbly. Schulz, an 18th century theorist and musician, went even further than that, saying, yes, half bars are also strong, but first beats have got to be even stronger. Bubbly's not going to cut it. So now we have divided our music into small, neat parcels of regular beats which we can count and which give us a sense of swing, and we've got a sense of hierarchy across the beats. But if we were to emphasise every bar in the same way, it would get very monotonous. It can't be what it's all about. It reminds me of George Orwell. All downbeats are important, but some are more important than others. So what next for our bar lines? Well, composers quite often ignored them. A fugue is a good example of this, where different voices enter at different times and different parts of the bar. We can't all emphasise the downbeat because our phrases are musically out of sync. Some composers love to trick the audience about where the bar lines are. Haydn was a past master of this. By putting emphasis on the wrong beats, he made everyone think the bar line was in a different place. Other composers wanted to get away from the straitjackets of the regular bar lines. Stravinsky springs to mind. I randomly opened the score of Soldier's Tale and found in one patch of 12 bars he changed the time signature 8 times. More recent composers have done away with the bar line altogether and gone back to just writing equally important notes. Now, I don't know if they've done this for big pieces, but I've seen it done for quartets where everybody can play off the same page, so you don't have the same issue of navigation. Other composers have gone even further and done away with the normal musical notation altogether and resorted to graphic scores. I'm going to leave you now with an image from an opera for one percussionist while I tidy up my drinks bar. Cheers.